If you're on video, can you give a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Inslee, are we ready to proceed from your end?
We are, so please rise.
Thank you, everyone. You can have a seat. Good afternoon. So I am Judge Chris Lanice from Thurston County Superior Court. I am presiding over this matter as a visiting judge for Lewis County Superior Court, given the various recusals of the judicial officers in that county. We're here on an order on a show cause hearing in Department of Labor and Industries of the state of Washington versus Spiffy Inc., doing business as Spiffy's Restaurant and Bakery, the defendant. This is cause number 20-2-00772-21. I'm going to try to manage this to allow people who are attorneys to introduce themselves. I see, let me scroll down here. I'm a co-host here. Michael Hall, I've asked you to unmute. Could you please unmute yourself and introduce yourself? And please bear with us as we work with our technology. I'm also going to send that request to Mr. Dew to see if Mr. Dew can unmute himself.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Right.
And there's Mr. Hall as well. Mr. Hall, can you hear me? Okay. He is having some difficulty speaking, it looks like. I can't hear Mr. Hall. I can hear Mr. Dew. Oh, there you go.
I have it now. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I am here too. Thank you for the department.
So we have
Mr. Dew will be arguing.
Mr. Dew will be arguing. Thank you. So I'm going to put Mr. Hall back on mute then, and I'll ask Mr. Dew to unmute at the appropriate time. We have a notice of appearance from Jason Kelski on behalf of defendant, and I'm trying to scroll in here to see if I can find him on this list. I do know from other proceedings that he generally calls in, so he might actually be one of our call-in users. So this is what I'm going to do in this moment of technology. I am going to unmute each of the call-in users, expecting that he is one of them, and then try to identify which one he is that way, unless somehow someone knows of a different name that we have for Mr. Kelski right now. But you're all muted, so you couldn't tell me. So bear with me just a moment, please. Okay, I'm sending unmute requests to each of the call-in users. Please only unmute yourself if you are actually Mr. Kelski. Okay, I've sent all the requests. Okay. That didn't appear to work, so let's try something else. Do we have someone speaking? Okay, that was wishful thinking on my part. I'll let you know, I typically, Mr. Dew. Well, let's see, I've sent an unmute request to you.
I believe Mr. Kelski has a 509 area code, if that's of any help.
Thank you. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the phone numbers on WebEx. And so I'm accustomed to Zoom. I'm using WebEx here. Now I'm going to try another option here to get this to work. And so anyone on this call, please do not speak unless you are Mr. Kelski. I'm just going to hit the unmute all button, which is a dangerous option, I know, but I trust because right now, this is being live streamed to Lewis County Superior Court. I'm present in Thurston County Superior Court, You are all considered, although you're not in a courtroom, to be part of the courtroom right now. So please conduct yourself appropriately and do not speak unless you are Mr. Kelsky. I'm now hitting unmute all. Okay, so Mr. Kelsky, you should have permission to unmute yourselves now. No one else should unmute themselves, just Mr. Kelsky.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jason Selsky.
We got it. Okay, thank you. Everyone else should remain muted at this time. So Mr. Selsky, you're here on behalf of defendants, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. So we are here today. We also have some members of the media, I can tell just from the list of participants present. And so what I'm going to do, given the number of people who are present, is simply ask whether or not anyone has any objection to any member of the media taking either still image photographs or video recordings of this proceeding. Is there any objection? Okay, hearing none.
Your Honor.
Permission. Okay. Mr. Kelsky, could you say something right now, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm trying to find out which, do you have a, let's see. Can you say something one more time, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
If it shows my phone number, the last two digits are 94.
okay, I think you're calling user number 5. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit mute all. And now I'm going to go to call in user number 5 and request to unmute. Mr. Kelsky, you try to unmute yourself again.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, that worked. Oh, there's note for the record. We had someone who decided to unmute themselves and make some flatulence-like noises. Again, you're considered to be inside the courtroom right now. I expect everyone to conduct themselves in a respectful and mature manner. Given that the last method appeared to not work, I needed to mute everyone to make sure there wasn't any risk. And if I see other issues, I have the discretion to kick you off the call, which I don't want to do because we have a strong constitutional policy for open courts and access to the public in Washington State. So, Mr. Kelsky, Mr. Do we have any preliminary matters to address, or should we proceed to argument on the show-cause hearing? And I'll turn to Mr. Kelsky first.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have a couple of small issues which I think should be taken care of. Number one, I did appear on this case December 23rd. I'm sure the court just received my notice of appearance in this matter, and I would ask for a 1-week continuance in the, given the nature of the event. We would understand that the restraints would remain in full force and effect until such time a hearing can be had in 1 week. Additionally, I believe there was a affidavit of prejudice that was filed in this case a short time ago, and I think that should probably be taken care of as well.
Okay, so affidavits of prejudice, now known as notices of disqualification, are a statutory mechanism which allows each party to file without any questions asked a notice to get a different judge on the case. If that has occurred, then I don't have any discretion in the matter, and this case must be reassigned to a different judge. So what I'm going to do is, Mr. Do, have you received any notice of this notice of disqualification? You have received notice. He's nodding. Oh, sorry, I have to unmute you. That's right. Okay, you may unmute yourself.
Yes, we have received it.
Okay, so Mr. Kelsky, has that been filed with Lewis County Superior Court?
Your Honor, it's my understanding it was faxed over earlier today, yeah.
Okay. And so what I'm going to do is, again, I'm over here in Thurston County. Is there a clerk or an administrator in the courtroom in Lewis County, and I see Susie there, who can confirm that this is in fact the case? Susie?
The clerk's checking right now to see if it's been filed. Did Your Honor make a discretionary ruling in this previously by signing that order, though?
I was going to address that, but I want to just hear if that's been filed.
Let me check.
Thank you.
The clerk confirms that, yes, it has been filed.
Thank you. So notices of disqualification, as I indicated, mean that I have no discretion that must be reassigned, but they may only be filed if the judicial officer at issue has not made a discretionary ruling in the case yet. In signing the order on the temporary restraining order and setting this hearing, I exercise discretion, and thus a notice of disqualification may not be filed in this case. Should any party take issue with my position regarding the notice of disqualification, you may file a motion supported by a legal argument, and we can address that when we ultimately have a hearing next time in this case. I say next time in this case because I am assuming, based on past practices in related cases, that the state is not going to oppose this request for a continuance, again, given the understanding that the temporary restraining order's terms will continue with full force and effect until that time. Mr. Dew, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. So what we're going to do now is that I am going to find a cause to continue this hearing today for 1 week. We will be looking at next Tuesday, because it is Tuesday today, and I'll say it's 3 o'clock. That time may change, and there'll be some notice that we interlineate in any order about this. But I want to have a couple words before then. Unless and until something changes, my continuing order remains in full force and effect, and I want to speak briefly about what is and is not covered by that order. What is not covered is any prohibition against any restaurant remaining open. A restaurant being open is not prohibited by the order, nor is the employment of individuals or the taking of orders or the preparation of food. That is all permitted. Also permitted are individuals or customers coming in to obtain food that they have ordered. Also permitted is taking that food out of the building to either eat at a home, somewhere else, or an outdoor dining facility. The only thing that is prohibited by the order at this point is for all those things to happen, but then for a customer to stay inside the physical building of Spiffy's and then consume the food in there. That is what the order prohibits in this case. The court fully anticipates and expects there will be compliance with any court order, including this one. Failure to do so may result in an order or finding of contempt, which can result in fines or penalties up to $2,000 per day, could include jail time, could include the bringing of charges for a gross misdemeanor, and other consequences. Again, I hope to never have to reach those issues. I hope and expect there will be compliance with the court's validly issued orders, but I note that because there needs to be compliance. So I will ask the state if you are in a position where you could draft an order that continues the terms of the temporary restraining order until further order, as well as setting a hearing for next Tuesday at 3 o'clock. You can leave some blanks about the details of said order, and we will fill in the details in connection with Lewis County Superior Court's administration to set this up appropriately. Are there any questions?
None
We'll
from
draft
me,
the order, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, and there's that feedback echo. We've muted, so it's gone. So I believe that's everything that we need to address today. Again, I expect and anticipate there will be full adherence to the terms of my temporary restraining order, and if there's not, we will deal with that at the appropriate time. Otherwise, I will hear from you and see you all via Zoom or WebEx next week at this time. That's everything in this matter. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance and participation. The court is in recess.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.